So what to do with all of these scraps? I'm going to show you how to take these strips and make up quick little blocks like this. And you probably already know how to do that, but I bet you don't know what I am using to make it really easy and really simple. You're going to love this. If you've been quilting a while, you will tend to have a lot of scraps. So this is just a small amount of what I have here. Some of this I have in bags. And this happens to be a scrap box where it's more of kind of like grays and blacks, whites, and cream color type stuff. This is my box where it's the cool tone, so that would be blues and greens mostly. And so it's always a constant battle trying to figure out what to do with these things, and I've got a really great trick for this. And it's actually with something that you might be currently throwing away, so just keep this in mind. You can use dryer sheets as a foundation, but wait, there's more. You can also use these color captures. And so if you're like me, you definitely like to throw a color capture in whenever you finish a quilt. And I actually have a lot of color captures because I like to dye my own fabric. So I actually have far more color captures than I do the dryer sheets. And the nice thing about the color captures is they're literally getting washed out. Now the same is not necessarily true with the dryer sheets. Oftentimes these will have residue on them. And so before using them, it might be a good idea to go ahead and wash these out. So that's an easy enough process. All you have to do is just use some dish soap. You can use Dawn, that's always kind of the thing that's mentioned, but you can also just use regular stuff. I mean, this is probably palm olive. And then you just kind of give them a little bit of an agitation there. And then when you're done with all of these, then you're going to go ahead and dump the water. You're going to rinse these out so that you get the soap out of them. And then just go ahead and lay them flat and let them dry. And if they're still crinkly, then what you can do is you can take an iron, and what I would do, because I have found that this material is a little sensitive to the heat that we tend to use on our cottons. And so what I would do is I would just simply place a paper towel over that, and then go ahead and iron it smooth. And this one's already ironed smooth. And the nice thing about dryer sheets in particular, they make a great foundation because they do not stretch. There's no real stretching to this. And so it's actually very ideal that way. Now, on the other hand, with my color captures, which I have in great abundance, these do have some stretchiness. This direction is not a bunch, but this direction is actually quite a bit. And so what I do with these color capture sheets is I will go ahead and I'll just lay out onto usually my ironing surface and maybe put some paper towels underneath for the overspray. And then I just lay them out, and I get out a spray starch that has a pretty good stiffening quality to it, and then I just do kind of even passes through it to get it nice and saturated. I let it dry either all the way or most of the way, because I've left these overnight before. And then I just come back in. If they're still pretty wet, then I will put a paper towel over it just to kind of soak up some of that moisture. But if it's dry or most of the way dry, I find that these are actually tough enough to hold up to the heat that we tend to use as quilters in our irons. And so you just iron them nice and flat, and you will end up having it be like this, where there's like no stretch in it. This one's been nice and starched. And so these are actually a brand called X Clean. I buy these off of Amazon because I can get a box of 120, and it's pretty cheap. I get a box of 120 for about the price of maybe 2 boxes of what you can find in the stores around you. These, I believe, are carbonas that I had left over. I've also used Shout a lot, but I don't know that I have any of those around. What I like to do with it is this actually measures out to 9.5 inches by 4.75. And then like this one is definitely shorter. This one's like 8.5 inches. And then this one is even shorter than that one. So what I will do is I go for 4.5 inches, and then I can get 2 4.5 inches out of this. So let me go ahead and show that. And that will get me 2 4.5-inch squares that I can use as foundation for my scraps. And so with this one, because it's actually 8.5 inches, so what I do with this is I make it 4.25 inches because it's definitely a lot wider than 4.5 inches here. So that's actually coming out to about 5.5 inches. So I have plenty of height that way. And so really it's just a matter of the width. So in order to get 2 out of this, I just go ahead and cut that in half. And then I have 2 equal pieces, or mostly equal pieces. And then I just go ahead and line it up to the 4.5 here and cut that excess off. And then that will give me 2 pieces off of dryer sheets. And then with this one, I'm only able to get 1 piece out of it. And so I have leftover pieces that I've gone ahead and done the ironing to. And actually on these, they don't really have much stretch, so I don't think I bother starching them. But I end up with about this much left over, and I just save that because I might be able to use that as foundation on an even smaller block. So it's pretty easy to prep this since you know that it's 4.5 inches. Then what you'll want to do is, since I am, now if you were doing something completely straight, like just straight coins, then you could just do 4.5. I would personally still want to go a little bit beyond. I tend to go about 5 inches wide because what I want to do is I want to take these, and I don't necessarily have to line them up really nice and exact. But what I like to do with these is I will just kind of cut them off at little angles. And I don't go any lower than about 3/4 of an inch. And so I shoot for basically around 3/4 of an inch to maybe a little bit beyond 1 inch, like maybe 1.25 inches. And that way I can get some different widths out of this, which can be useful to me. I have workable pieces. And then whenever I am done cutting up some pieces, or I've cut enough of a particular fabric, because maybe I have tons of it, you know, then I like to go ahead and just get these separated out. And then, let's see, get that one there, there, and there. So now I have those. And then I just set up trays, and so here's a tray that I've set up, and I'm doing these blocks in more of like kind of a grayscale, and so these are kind of a medium and light medium gray type of a thing. And then this is also where I have some things of a certain amount of color to provide a color pop, because I think that's kind of interesting. And definitely the goal on this is you want to get a lot of different pieces, and so I have another tray, and these have darker grays to them. And then I also have some solids cut, and so these are some solids that I've pre-cut and worked out with them. So next I'm going to show how I assemble the block. So it's just as easy as that with putting together these pieces. They come together pretty fast. And then I like to use my OmniGrid ruler because that I can line it up right there. And so, let's see, this one's the one with the dryer sheet. So that one, I'm trying to kind of line that up with an edge there that I can use. And let me get that so that I can cut it, both sides. Okay. All right. All right. So it's as simple as that. Okay, so that is one of them, all nice and done. And then this one was with the color capture sheet. For that one, since I have this little tiny bit here, but I have enough hanging off here, then it won't actually be the sheet completely all the way. I'll be able to just kind of make it a little bit off that way. Okay, and that, oh, looks like a little tiny bit there. Didn't quite want to get all the way trimmed. Oh, just get that. There we go. Okay, so here's a couple of pieces. It's pretty much gray type stuff. I do like to throw in occasional pops of a little bit of color, so I have some blue, and there's kind of some green. This ticking fabric has more of a green, but from a distance, it's going to read pretty gray, and that's my intent, with just a little bit, you know, like sparkly type stuff to kind of make it so that it's a little more pleasing to the eye. And so what I can do with something like this is I can just line these right up. So I have a whole bunch of them that I finished up here. And there we go. Let's see. Let's get one of these here. That looks nice. And then I'll go for that. And so this is just, you know, and I have a bunch more. This is just a really nice, quick way that you can use up a bunch of your scraps. And it works really great if you've organized your scrap by color so that you can kind of give yourself some guide rails. Some people like it really chaotic. I tend to not really like scrappy things to be chaotic, so I like to keep to more of a color scheme. But this would work excellently for, like, you know, doing like blues and, you know, in one block, and then maybe doing like purple in some blocks around it, and just kind of doing like more of kind of a color gradient. So now that I've taken you through how to make these really quick strip blocks, go ahead and check out some other videos that I have on all kinds of different quilting topics, and here's a couple to start you out. Thanks for watching.